Hi and welcome to this week's video. My name is Belle and I create oracle decks full of magic and heartwarming stories. And today is an exciting day for me as I want to introduce you to Theo in the undeadly flesh, appearing for the first time in clear shape. If you've been around, you know that we've talked about him before. I made a video about how to create characters people fall in love with, and Theo was the inspiration for that video. He's a character who first introduced himself to me last year on Halloween, so exactly 1 year ago. And I had the idea to create him after I saw a doodle of the cutest vampire on the whiteboard of the Community Creative Center for Kids where I work some afternoons. So over the weeks and months, he formed himself fully in my mind's eye, coming with his own special traits, values, and charming characteristics. And if you're a writer yourself, I'm sure you know what I mean when I say he introduced himself to me, because it's almost as if he already is a being or someone who comes with all of these things. And the more I engage with him mentally, of course, the more I discover about him. It's not so much that I come up with details about him, it's much more that he shows them to me and I just have to listen, and of course I have to give him space to reveal more and more of who he is. And in another video, I talked about how I could introduce him into the lives of the Witch Cat sisters. It was on a forest walk where I came up with this grand idea, or so I thought, and I can't even piece it all together now. If I would try, I really couldn't. But it was something about Frida searching for the greatest witch who once lived in the area, and she wanted to find her in order to learn about the purpose of life and how she could find her own purpose. But to be very, very honest here, this grand plot and the building of tension, the red ribbon or thread tying each of the stories into a hero's journey, all of it actually really lowered my motivation and creative flame, which from a logical point of view doesn't make any sense. It should be easier knowing where the story is headed, what's it about, and what the conclusion or message will be in the end. But it really wasn't. And at first I didn't even realize what was happening, but I noticed that I was less eager to come up with a new card each week. And suddenly I felt some sort of inner pressure to stick to a storyline or the storyline that I came up with and to follow some sort of blueprint that I myself had invented. And I wondered why my mojo was gone. But looking back, it's very obvious to me now. The reason I started creating my decks in the first place was because I felt a need of everyday companions, light-hearted stories, and a way to work with the Akashic Records in a playful and joyful way. And since I can remember, I've loved cozy things. Stories and characters that make me feel safe, comfortable, and at ease. I can open up in such an environment. I feel connected in that way. I don't need an epic story full of twists and tension that builds up just to be released in the most glorious way. No. That's not my cup of tea, not at all. It is fun, of course, once in a while, but as I wanted these decks to be my everyday companions, I needed cozy. And I love the everyday things, the little moments of joy, the connection with people I feel safe with, loved, seen, and understood. I love cozy and everyday enchantment, like fresh flowers on the kitchen table, a hot soup shared with friends and family, being cuddled up in the evening looking out into the night sky, having a spontaneous dance party with my cat Lottie, all the tiny things that light me up on a daily basis. And that's my magic. That's what I encourage through my decks, to find joy in the little everyday moments. So coming back to Theo and the way I wanted to introduce him into the story. I already knew he would be living in the same area, so that gives us an instant connection to the sisters. He's a neighbor. And I let Theo decide what he would like best. And wouldn't you know it, he suggested going over to the new neighbors with scones and a fine blend of English tea to welcome the cats into the neighborhood. And since he simply cannot go anywhere without some of his more anxious ghosts who wouldn't leave his side, he is accompanied by a few scattered and jumpy souls who still wander in this realm. And there are always a handful of animals around him following his every step, spiders, bats, and today even a badger-like creature who decided to become his permanent companion without my doing. Very much like Theo himself came into the story. And writing this now, even just coming up with this idea, makes my heart overflow and lights up my motivation to unknown heights, because that's what feels cozy to me, that's what feels real. If they were all true characters, wouldn't it be perfectly normal to come over and welcome new neighbors? Perfectly normal, and yet the most heartfelt and compassionate thing to do. Human, vulnerable, and oh so sweet. I don't know, thinking of that just fills me with awe for life. And that's what I'm thriving for. I hope you feel the same way, or that my thoughts could spark your very own inspiration to life. And I am so happy that you've spent this time with me as always. I hope for now you just enjoyed the painting process, and I will say my goodbyes at the end of this video. Yeah, you've made it up until this point, and as I said, I am so grateful. I'm so happy that you're here with me. It means the world to me that you are a witness of this oracle deck, of these cards, of these characters coming to life. And I am sending you so much love, so much good energy, and see you next time. And until then, have a wonderful time. Bye bye.